What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Borderlands 4 video. In today's video, guys, we're going to be breaking down all of the major skills and gameplay details for all of the different Vault Hunters, so that way you can make a better decision on which one that you're going to pick on launch day when the game drops on September 12th, 2025, just here in a few weeks. And just as a reminder, guys, we are doing a giveaway for this game. We are giving out 3 copies for Borderlands 4. We're doing one public giveaway, and the other 2 will be released during the release week during our live streams. If you want to become a part of that giveaway, all you got to do, drop a like, subscribe to the channel as if you haven't done so already, and make sure to comment down below LDG. And also, guys, we are sponsored with G Fuel, or at least have an affiliate link with G Fuel. All that is down in the description below. So if you want to save 20% off your order from G Fuel, all you got to do is use code LOSTDAYS at checkout or click the link down below. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First up on our list, we have Amon The ForgeKnight, where anything melee is in your department, using shields defensively and offensively. The first up, we have Crucible, which is a charge skill which allows Amon to pull out his throwable forge axes, which can be picked up off the ground to refund cooldown. Amon can throw either a flame or a frost axe, dealing incendiary melee or cryo melee damage. Enemies damaged by the axes are primed for duration and detonate when they die, or damaged by a forge skill, damaging nearby enemies. And it's good to note that Amon has a unique trait in Borderlands 4, which allows him to have a secondary skill called a forge skill. And the forge skill for the Crucible is called Double Edge, which press and hold the action skill button to throw a twinned forged axe, dealing cryo melee damage to those hit on the way out and incendiary melee damage to those that it passes on the way back. And then his other skill tree is called Scourge, which allows Amon to equip his Forge Shield, turning all frontal damage into Vengeance. When the Vengeance meter is filled, Forge Shield instead provides damage reduction. Vengeance diminishes quickly if damage hasn't recently been absorbed. Pressing the action skill again launches a forge wave, passing through enemies and dealing cryo ordnance damage. Vengeance is consumed to increase its damage. Now, the forge skill for this one is called Firewall, which allows you to press and hold the action skill button to drop a firewall that absorbs enemy projectiles. Grants friendly projectiles that pass through its bonus damage and speed. Damage absorbed by the shield is converted to Vengeance while Scourge is active. Enemies near the firewall take incendiary status effect damage over time. And then finally, his final skill tree is called Onslaughter, which allows Amon to overload his Forge Fist, granting him constant shield regeneration, bonus incendiary damage with guns, and bolstered movement speed. Pressing the skill or melee activates Amon's Rocket Punch, dealing incendiary melee damage in a small cone. It also staggers enemies. Badasses only have a chance to be staggered, while bosses can't be staggered. His forge skill for this is called Molten Slam, which allows him to press and hold the action skill button to slam Amon's Forge Hammer into the ground, dealing an AoE incendiary melee damage effect. And then next up on our list, we have Rafa The Exo Soldier, and his first skill is the Arc Knives. Now, what these Arc Knives do is they deal melee damage and mark enemies struck by them. These marks stack with each hit, causing foes to take progressively more damage. While using Arc Knives, Rafa shifts to a third-person perspective, who can perform the following actions, such as melee attacks, dashing forward, using a shock melee, or use Blade Fury, dealing shock damage to all marked enemies while ending the skill. And then his secondary skill is called the Peacebreaker Cannons. Rafa equips his Peacebreaker Cannons, which deal kinetic gun damage to enemies in front of him for the skill's duration. Ending Peacebreaker Cannons early partially refunds the action skill cooldown. Then his last skill is the Apophis Lance, which allows Rafa to equip his lance, which is an offhand arm cannon that trades off some of his gun handling for the ability to fire piercing shock ordnance blasts. Pressing the action skill button fires a blast, consuming a charge. Holding it uses up all the charges to fire a charge blast with increased damage, projectile size, and projectile speed. Unused charges are converted back into action skill cooldown when the Apophis Lance skill ends. So if anybody is wanting to play a versatile soldier-like gameplay that is pretty much good from all ranges, then Rafa is the pick for you. And for our third option, we have Vex the Siren. Yes, the Siren class returns, but in a somewhat different way, using her minions to aid her in battle. Now for her first skill, she's using Incarnate, which Vex creates a phase explosion, dealing damage to nearby enemies and fully restoring her health. While active, Vex can use Eldritch Blast and gain increased movement speed. Eldritch Blast fires a blast from her offhand, dealing damage to nearby enemies on impact and dealing gun damage to reduce the ability's cooldown. You can also end this action early to partially refund the cooldown. Her secondary skill is called Dead Ringer, which is a charge skill which allows you to spawn a phase clone minion, either a Spectre or Reaper. Phase clones lose an ever-increasing amount of health per second, and their damage type matches Vex's current attunement, which is the elemental type damage when spawned. You can also spawn a Reaper that taunts enemies and deals melee attack damage, or a Spectre that deals gun damage and cannot move. And for her third and final skill, which is called Phase Familiar, Vex is joined by her minion Trouble. When killed, Trouble respawns after a cooldown. The action skill button can teleport Trouble, dealing damage in an area. Trouble then transforms into a badass, fully restoring health and gaining increased damage for duration. Activating Phase Familiar respawns Trouble if he's currently dead. And can't forget her unique trait, which is called the Phase Covenant, which allows her to attune to the elemental type of her current gun, converting all of her action skills and melee damage into that current elemental type. And then last but not least, they just released this trailer not too long ago. I think it was like a couple days before this video goes live. Is Harlowe the Gravitar with her unique trait called Entanglement, which allows her to use her action skill on enemies. Those that have been affected by these skills become entangled, which Entangled explained is entangled enemies share a portion of gun damage and skill damage with all other entangled enemies. Now for her first skill is called the Chroma Accelerator, which fires an unstable energy pocket from Harlowe's Chroma Accelerator. The unstable energy pocket passes through enemies and deals cryo damage to all enemies it passes near. Pressing the action skill causes the unstable energy pocket to explode and deal heavy radiation damage in a large area. And for her secondary skill, which is called the Flux Generator, which allows Harlowe to throw her Flux Generator in front of her, which projects an energy field, dealing cryo damage over time and also entangling enemies. Allies inside the energy field gain Overshield, and you can simply press the action skill button to pick up your Flux Generator and toss it again. And for her third and final skill, which is called 0 Point, you can press the action skill to use Harlowe's Halo Accelerator to place an enemy in stasis for a duration. Enemies immune to stasis take damage instead, probably such as bosses maybe. And then pressing the action skill again causes the enemy in stasis to be slammed into the ground in the direction Harlowe is facing and creates a small explosion. Re-triggering stasis also has a cooldown. So anybody looking to deal some crazy crowd control damage and some good team play, then Harlowe is surely the pick for you. So now you have to tell us which Vault Hunter that you are going to go for. Make sure to drop it in the comments below. And again, guys, don't forget about the giveaway. Make sure to enter that so that way you have a chance to win a free copy of Borderlands 4. I cannot wait for this game to come out. Of course, once the game launches, we'll be doing all sorts of skills breakdowns, builds, and everything of the sort, live streams with our buddies. And if you want to join in, then feel free to join our Discord. And all those links are down in the description below. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, make sure to drop a like, consider subscribing to the channel, and we have more Borderlands 4 content coming your way. But that's going to be it from us, guys. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Deuces.